close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left.
Okay, so I thought it would be fun to have you ask me questions on Instagram on the Ask Question feature to see what questions you might have and see if they would be interesting to answer. And obviously I got a lot of questions, so here we go. Let's just go through some of the questions and see if we can find any interesting ones. First one is Batusik Trilik asked, "Hey, how are you and how is Aiden?" We're doing great. Thanks so much. Aiden is working very hard Monday through Friday, living at the studio, recording his album, and he just continually impresses me. Every week, get used to some new level of accomplishment and technical expertise and musical ability that he has. And then the next week I come in and find that he's exceeded what he was even doing the previous week. So it's pretty cool to be his dad. Constantly impressed with this kid ever since he was born. Just honestly, he just continues to surprise me and exceed expectations that I had of being a father and what a kid was capable of doing. So I feel really blessed. Next question. Rosette648 asked, "What is the best and greatest memory with your son?" That's tough because we do amazing things together every year. You know, when he was 1 year old, just holding him and taking him everywhere and experiencing that age, and 2 years old and 3 years old, like every year was something different. They were all magical and wonderful. So to try to figure out which is the best or greatest memory, I don't think I'm capable of doing that because of just been so many. Aiden R5 asks, "Will Aiden come to Europe on his tour?" Of course. Aiden's fan base is hugely international. Of course, he'll kick off his tour, hopefully in Seattle. He'll cover the U.S. first, then he'll hit all the other international markets. Anna B. Valenti asks, "Do you have any advice for a girl in her 20s? Yeah, choose happiness. Find what makes you happy. Figure out a way to do that. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love doing will bring you the most success in life. So if you try to make a living at doing something you hate, you probably won't be very good at it." Larry La asked, "Does Aiden already have projects for a new film or series?" The answer is he's been offered a lot of different television shows and films, and most of them we've turned down because we just didn't like the writing. You know, I'm a literary agent, and as such have read thousands of scripts and developed a certain level of literary requirement for competency in writing, and I can quickly identify bad writing, and I can quickly identify where a story is going to go and whether it's going to be worth doing or not. So I help Aiden with that. He's a really good read too, so he can read something and figure out very quickly if it's something that he likes reading. And if he doesn't like reading, then he certainly wouldn't want to act in the project. While his primary focus is finishing this album and then going on a tour and then working on his second and third album, he does love acting, and we're just waiting for the right project to come along. We have had some good projects that have been offered to him, really like period drama, academy level projects that the timing was just wrong for. Most of the time he was already obligated to the Umbrella Academy, so he wasn't able to get on board with the production. That's something that we don't really have a problem with anymore, so we're hoping that another one comes along soon. We'll just consider projects as they come. Shanty Blood asked why you don't talk about Lauren. I put out weekly vlogs, and Lauren is often in them and often not in them. When she's not in them, it's probably because she doesn't want to be filmed. When you reach my age, you probably don't think you look as good as you should. For example, I have an idea in my head of what I should look like, and that's somebody like in their 30s or 40s. And at my age, when you actually look in the mirror or you see what you look like on camera, not really that proud of it, unfortunately. I mean, it would be great if everyone could just be accepting of the aging process and starting to look bad as you age, but that's really a hard thing to do. I personally don't like being on camera, and Lauren doesn't like being on camera, but she's always around. Chicken with a Nugget asks, when is Aiden going to release his album? So that's a question that he gets asked over and over again. Well, the first thing is season 4 and the last season of Umbrella Academy will premiere August 8th. So all the focus is on promoting that and finishing the album before that date. Once that comes out, he will then release a single a month after that time. I would predict there will be about 3 singles that come out, maybe 4 even. This album is just incredible. Like, every song could be a single. It's just, there's just no filler on this album. But I would think that he will drop 3 to 4 singles, and then the album, and then a tour announcement, and then ticket sales, and then finally the tour. All that stuff takes time. If you do it immediately, then it's not successful. So it has to be done progressively with a plan in mind for it to be a success. Liz Kanat asks, what's your Russian language level? At one point, I was fluent in Russian. Language, like an instrument, takes daily practice to be good at. So if I were around Russians on a daily basis, I think my Russian ability would be pretty good. But because I'm not, I would say it's really rusty. Now, when I'm around Russians and I hear them speaking, I can understand everything they're saying, and I can probably jump into the conversation and get involved. But I'm sure I would trip up unless I was living in Russia and speaking with them on a daily basis, and then I think I would pretty good. Evelina.ab asks, how do you and Aiden like to spend your free time together? I think our favorite thing is going on hikes in nature and being around trees. In California, we didn't have the ability to do that because Southern California is desert. The only thing it has are nice beaches. Everything else is like desert trails and brush, and it's very arid. There's very little moisture in the air. It's not so great. So Aiden loves trees, so do I. And now we live in an environment where we can just go in our backyard and hike through lush forests that look like they're something out of a fairy tale. That's what we love to do. Violetta.2238 asks, hi, what place would you like to visit? I think I've pretty much been everywhere, and where we visit kind of depends on where Lauren and Aiden want to visit, because they have not been as well traveled as I have. So I pretty much cater to what their desires are. Sarah I. Mill 4N asks, what is your favorite hobby? I have so many hobbies. One of my biggest problems is that I get really interested in a hobby or sport. I like the challenge at the very beginning where, let's say painting, for example. You get interested in painting, you take classes, and you practice and practice and practice, and you develop a certain level of skill. And that takes several years, maybe 4 years. As soon as I start to get good at something, by that time I've generally gotten less excited or passionate about the project. In the meantime, found something new. I'm constantly getting into new hobbies, and when I was really into golf, and really into tennis, and really into polo, and really into scuba diving, and flying. And if you look at my bookshelf, you'll see stacks of books on all these different pursuits, sailing, hiking, camping, so many different things you could do with your life as a hobby. I get really into things, and then I discover an interest in something new. Generally happens around the level where I get decent at something. So I wouldn't say I'm great at anything, but I'd say I'm decent at a lot of things. Fake-4NG3L- asks, what is your job? I'm retired, so I don't have a job. What was my job? I was a literary agent. I was a packaging agent. That involves representation of writers, directors, producers, and talent, and packaging together for projects to take to the studios. And then I got into film finance, and that involved getting money from banks and financing film and overseeing the distribution in domestic and foreign territories. So that was my job. Then Aiden got interested in being a director, and I tried to help him out with that. And he accidentally fell into the world of acting. And I've really focused on helping him be successful at things that he enjoys doing. So that's taken over what my job is, even though it's not really a job. But instead of like going off and sailing around the world, my priority is to be a good father and support Aiden in setting up his life and his passions, because I think he has the chance of making a very positive effect on the planet, and I want to make sure that he's set up to do that. Liz Canat asks, favorite coffee flavor? I don't like to put flavors in my coffee, so I like the taste of coffee. Flavor is affected by the beans, where they come from, and how they're roasted. I like a light roast coffee, and I like to prepare it with a French press. That's what tastes good to me. Why and when did you decide to be vegan? I don't know. It seems like 10 years ago. Aiden came to me. Aiden was passionate about the environment, and he read about Meatless Mondays, and he said, would you like to try Meatless Mondays with me? And I was just being supportive of Aiden, and I said, sure, let's give it a shot. We both gave up meat on Mondays, and we were vegetarians on Mondays, so we'd eat pasta, which we both love, and just didn't eat any meat on a Monday, and it felt great. It was much easier to digest, and I felt lighter on those days, less heavy and bloated than days when I ate meat. And so I thought it was a great thing. And Aiden did too. And then he said, hey, do you want to add Tuesdays? And I said, okay, let's do Tuesdays. We did Monday and Tuesdays. And after a while, he said, do you want to add Wednesdays? It's just Aiden leading me through this process. I don't think he planned it. He just found that he liked the way he felt on days when he did not eat meat. And I did too. I just felt lighter and less bloated, and my digestion system worked better on days when I didn't eat meat. That's how it progressed. It was never like a decision, and it's just something that we slowly became more and more educated on, and started reading more about nutrition and what's really needed, and all the fallacies behind, humans need to eat meat to get protein and things like that. So we just started reading more. I remember in the early days, Aiden would share things that he read about plant-based diets on his social media, just because he was excited about new information as he came across it. And the response was not great. So people that like their McDonald's and their fast food and stuff that's like super toxic for their bodies, it got really upset at any time Aiden posted about some exciting health benefits of eating plants over eating a cow or pig. So that's kind of been the history of it, and also why he doesn't post about plant-based stuff anymore, because it just gets so much hate from people who don't have the intellect to take in new information and look at it fairly. Okay, what is next? Liz Canap asks, how many languages can you speak? It's classified, actually. I grew up around the world and learned a lot of languages in specific areas, and some of the languages that I can speak, I don't get into how I acquired them or why I maintain them. I speak a lot of European and Far East languages, or at least I can understand them when I hear them spoken. And if I lived in those areas again, I'm sure I could pick them up because I have a strong aptitude for languages. Just.Sophie asks, tell us a little about yourself. My name is Rob, and I have a good heart, and I love all people. I'm very sympathetic and passionate and fair and really against corruption. I hate when people steal from others. Example would be a company that is setting up a factory that puts out pollution that poisons a nearby neighborhood, and a neighborhood of innocent people developing cancers, and the companies get away with it by paying millions of dollars to local judges and politicians so that they can continue to make millions or billions off the toxic products that they produce. So it's an example of corruption, and I just hate it so much. That just gives you a little insight to my personality, I guess. So that's a little about myself. I do stand for equality, and I'm proud that that's been Aiden's brand all along. Everything he stands for boils down to equality for all. I'm proud to be his dad. ASY-Acker asked, Mr. Rob, what do you think? Do better if I want to protect the planet. I want to be ecology. Just look at what you consume, because it's humanity's consumerism that is killing the planet. Anything you can do to be a better consumer for the planet is really the biggest thing that you can do. So just watch what you buy, and the more intelligent you are, the more careful you're going to be. The least intelligent people are just going to consume whatever seems attractive to them, like, say, sugar or candy. It's me, let's see. ITSEMILYNRG asks, the most random question is, what did you eat today? Well, I just woke up. So usually in the morning I'll have coffee and oatmeal or toast. And this morning I just had coffee. And I thought I would answer these questions because they're about to expire, because I asked them like 24 hours ago. DANNYXH asks, why do you hate Muslims so much? That is a fortunate question. I definitely do not hate Muslims. Definitely do not hate anyone. What I do hate is racism and violence. And I hate innocent people getting hurt, but I hate any people getting hurt. And I hate people that are willing to hurt others. So that's what I hate. Now, what I'm posting about online are extreme Islamic leaders who are using their religious leadership powers to control others and to incite large populations to war on others so that they can increase the money that they make, these religious leaders making millions to billions of dollars, by inciting emotional hate amongst their people towards another people strictly for skin color differences, racial differences, religious differences, political differences. If you look at Islamic extreme countries, they are religious dictatorships that have absolute control over their people. And they are swearing and inciting their people to have a global holy war against democracies. And democracies are places where women are equal to men and have an equal vote and are allowed to do whatever they want. If a woman wants to walk down the street and show her hair, that's her choice. She can wear a hat, she can wear a scarf, or she can show her hair. And she has the same rights as a man does. If you go to an Islamic dictatorship country and a woman shows her hair, she'll be grabbed off the street without notifying the family, and taken to a prison where she'll be beaten, tortured, raped, and then buried in the ground without ever notifying the family. So she'll just disappear. So I hate that. I don't hate Muslims. I actually grew up in the Middle East, and like half my friends are Muslim. So I learned to speak Arabic, and I studied the Quran, and I love Muslims. What I love are peaceful Muslims that are equally compassionate and fair and democratic in their principles and ideologies. What I don't like are Islamic leaders that use their religious positions to preach hate so that they can make money off the suffering and hate of others. And that's what is happening right now in the world. And it's pretty much coming from Iran and Qatar. And they're working in joint partnership with China, who is programming TikTok algorithms to get Western students and young people to believe that certain groups are victims and others are oppressors, when it could be absolutely the opposite. And all evidence and unbiased international investigation shows that to be the case. She is Soft asks, what is your greatest inspiration in life? That would have to be Aiden. So many other things in my life were rather predictable or became predictable as my life experiences progressed. And there's one thing that continues to surprise me, and that is Aiden, his capabilities, his brilliance, his inspiration. So I'm inspired by him, and I just want to support him in doing all the things that he loves to do, because I think he has the greatest chance of leaving a positive effect on the planet. And I don't think I do. I think I could live a very selfish life and go buy a catamaran and sail around the world and just chase down selfish pursuits. Instead of doing that, I want to support what Aiden does, because I think he will leave a very positive effect on the planet. And I think that would be a much better use of my life. And really what I want to do is be around Aiden and love him and support him. Just reading through these questions, and a lot of them are the same questions, so it seems like everyone seems to have the same type of curiosities or questions to ask. Mitch FCO19 asks, would Aiden become Irish because of his former relatives? I don't know. I have been to Ireland many, many times and traveled around, and it's a beautiful country. And I have thought about retiring there because it's such a great place to live. And there is a huge community of American retirees that settle in Ireland because it's such a great place to live. But the likelihood of it is pretty much nil, just because we love where we live now. Ireland would certainly be more preferable to Los Angeles, for example. AN.ASOFIA7370 asks, why does he have such a handsome son? Aiden is handsome because his mom is so handsome, or so beautiful. Victoria Garcia 28 asks, does Aiden have more projects besides the album for this year? There's a couple things that we're looking at and considering, but I don't think he has a lot of time. Cinco.Hargreaves asks, if you had the power to change something in the world, what would it be? And the answer to that is equality. And equality, to me, means no corruption. So if there's a way to bring corruption to the light of day and to stop it in all its forms and to have equality for all in all its forms, I think that would be the answer to everything. So all the pollution of the planet is taking place because there's some corruption where somebody's paying someone else to get away with it. And all the wars on the planet are taking place because some group is fighting another group strictly because their leader wants to make money. So all the reasons for fighting, such as racial or political or religious differences, I think are completely made up And what's really behind it is some leader that wants to enrich himself off creating emotions that get others to act and kill and die for him so he can enrich himself. And one of the greatest motivating emotion is anger. So that's used a lot. And now with online social media like TikTok, it's so easy to control people's psyches and get them to be angry and to join your cause and donate to your cause so that you can enrich yourself. And that to me is corruption and inequality. Joseph-Gallagher asks, someday will you come to Mexico? Absolutely. I've been to Mexico a lot and will be back with Aiden's tour at the very latest. Dommy.soft5810 asks, Aiden are tall? So, is Aiden tall? Yes. Aiden is a giant in every way you can imagine, except for perhaps his actual height, which is 5'6". So, if he puts boots on, he can be 5'7", 5'8", but flat-footed against the wall, he's 5'6". What is your dream vacation? Asks Sylvan1388. Oh boy, I really like Hawaii. When I go to Hawaii, I feel instantly relaxed. I spent a lot of my youth in various periods living on the north shore of Oahu. And whenever I go back there, it just feels like home, and I instantly relax. I love the weather and the sound of the ocean, and just being in these spaces where I spent so much of my childhood. Just going through these questions, and again, they're often just the same repeating questions. Ink-in-use asks, how come we never see Aiden's mother / your wife? Well, Lauren does have a public and a private Instagram page, so obviously you don't see the private one, which is just for family and friends. But the public one, she posts pictures, sometimes of herself, sometimes, but mostly of the beauty of the state that we live in, Washington. And sometimes Lauren lets me take video or pictures of her from my vlogs and my posts. And that's where you see her. So if you don't see her, then you're not looking hard enough. But she's around. AZLIINN ... asks, is Aiden available? Yeah, he's single. So does he have time to date? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have time to date. But if he fell in love with somebody, once you fall in love with somebody, you kind of lose control. And that, to me, is the definition of falling in love, is the absolute loss of control of all rational decisions. So if he fell in love with somebody, he might stop his album and run off and go travel the world with them. But he's not out there looking and not interested in dating right now. He wants to focus on his album and finish his album and set up his music career and tour. And then when the right person comes along, the right person will come along. I hope the right person is a musician, because I think he'll have more to talk about with a fellow musician than with anyone else. I think that's all the questions. I mean, certainly there's more questions than that, but they all seem to be the same questions over and over again, primarily asking about, does Aiden have a girlfriend, and about his album and that type of thing. So Aiden does not have a girlfriend, and when he gets another girlfriend, I am pretty certain it will not be posted or announced. His first 3 girlfriends he posted about on Instagram, and those girls got harassed so badly. They got so much hate. They also got a lot of fame and followers. Just by dating Aiden, they each jumped up like 500,000 followers. but they also got a lot of hate. So unfortunately, any girl that Aiden seems to like or even show a friendship towards, there is a segment of Aiden's female fans that will focus resentment and jealousy on that girl. And it's a lot of hate, and some girls are able to handle it and some girls just don't want to handle it. So, we've seen situations where Aiden has had a friend that is female that has decided that they just can't handle the hate and the criticism strictly because they happen to be friends with Aiden, and they've just turned off their social media. So we've seen that happen. There have also been a few girls that Aiden has dated that he hasn't posted anything about, and those have probably been the happiest relationships because there wasn't any social media drama or strife and all the daily junk that comes with that. I think in the future, if he dates someone, when he dates someone, it's not going to be posted and it's not going to be something he talks about. And I think that's the smartest thing to do for celebrities, is to just keep it out of the fan base. But honestly, truthfully, he's not dating anyone now, doesn't have his eye on anyone. And his passion and his love is music right now. And he also loves acting. And when the right acting project comes along, he'll fall in love with that and go off and do that. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this little podcast talking about various things and answering your questions. And thanks for listening.
I can see a sea of alpine green, something that will stay with me. Sky is wrapped in blue, wish that I could share with you, like a photograph when times are good, when a flower begins to bloom. Life never felt so good. You're far, but distance doesn't break your heart. It gives us time to know our love. Grass all wrapped in you. Oh, I wish that I could lie with you. Oh, I know what I would hold on to. A memory when times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you. Times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you. I can see a sea of alpine green, something that will stay with me. Sky is wrapped in blue, wish that I could share with you, like a photograph when times are good, when a flower begins to bloom. Life never felt so good. You're far, but distance doesn't break your heart. It gives us time to know our love. Grass all wrapped in you. Oh, I wish that I could lie with you. Oh, I know what I would hold on to. A memory when times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you. Times are good. That's when I think of you. That's when I think of you.